There are 3 rules that determine if you're going to be successful at your keto diet. Those same rules determine if you'll succeed in business, relationships, or anything else that's difficult that you try to do. By applying these rules consistently, you will pretty much guarantee that you're going to succeed at your diet. But not only that you will maintain the weight that you lost moving forward. Obviously, that means that you will also maintain your good health moving forward. Well, you might be wondering, why am I qualified to talk about this? And it's because 5 years ago, I had more than 70, I'd even say more than 80 pounds on my body that didn't need to be there. And I was struggling to enjoy my life. I developed a excruciating pain in my hip that stopped me from doing all of my sports. But more importantly, it stopped me from being able to have fun with my daughter, who was an active 12-year-old at the time, and I couldn't keep up. Being overweight can creep up on us because, first of all, we look at ourselves in the mirror every day, and so therefore we don't see the weight coming on. But more importantly, I think for what I'm talking about today is we give ourselves permission. So I gave myself permission, excuses, whatever you want to call it, to eat fun food on a very regular basis. So when my health started to fall apart, I realized that I hadn't accepted responsibility for the last 20 or so years about the foods that I was eating to build and fuel my body. I wasn't being responsible, which is what we're talking about today. Every single day, I have decisions to make about what I'm going to eat. And I really didn't take it seriously until I started to feel pain in my hip that threw me off all of my sports. Wellness wear. If everyone around you is overweight, you accept that it's normal to be overweight. So I let the world decide what was going to be normal for me, because this is the acceptable standard. It's the same thing to do with that idea when people say, oh, everybody eats junk. It's normal to eat junk. Why are you going to deprive yourself of junk food because it's just normal? I allowed myself to accept that information as reality. Everybody eats junk. Of course I should be eating junk. That's me giving away decision-making and therefore not being responsible for what goes into my mouth, into my body, builds my health. By allowing other people's opinions, ideas, behaviors to impact and influence what I was doing, I wasn't taking responsibility for what I was eating, and therefore I was eating stuff that allowed my weight to continue to rise, my health to continue to deteriorate. And by the time my daughter was 12, my body was falling apart and I couldn't do the fun things with her I wanted to do. We like to socialize, and we have a tendency to do that around food. Does that mean that when I go to social events with family and friends, that I should eat the junk food, the unhealthy food that I see in front of me that I know isn't good for me? Does it mean I should eat it just because this is how we have chosen to socialize? And I can tell you that I had been eating it, and it had been impacting my health. I allowed my desire to socialize, to compromise the foods that I was eating, even back when I knew that the chips, cookies, ice cream wasn't helping my weight. I didn't know it was harming my joints, but I knew it was harming my weight. I did it anyway. That wasn't an example of me taking responsibility towards my health. I was eating what everyone else was eating because I wanted to feel part of the group. I wanted to feel accepted. I wanted to feel connected to everybody. But here's the thing, Wellness Warrior. I was invited because either I'm their friend and they wanted to see me, or I'm their family member and they wanted to see me. I wasn't invited because they wanted to see me eat something specific. As a matter of fact, they didn't care if I ate or not. I kept acting like the only way I could be part of the group was to eat what everyone else was eating, despite the fact that it was causing my weight to rise. And now I know, despite the fact that it was harming my health. I didn't know that part. The truth is, If I'm responsible for keeping myself healthy and I act on it every time I have a food decision in front of me, I act on eating the thing that's going to keep me the healthiest, then what's going to happen is I'll actually be able to go to more family functions, more friend gatherings, because I'll be feeling good enough to go to the family function and friend gatherings. What was stopping me, interestingly enough, was mostly times when I didn't feel good enough to go because my back was hurting, my knees were hurting, my elbows were hurting. It wasn't because I didn't like what they were going to make. That never stopped me from going. Accepting responsibility is the first step to solving your ability to stay on track with keto, because until I accept that I'm responsible for my health and my weight and what I eat and start making decisions towards those things, I can't change anything, right? If I say, well, this is the way everybody eats, so I have to eat this way, I'm not going to change anything. If I say, but they told me that it's okay to eat junk food once in a while, I'm not going to change anything. It's my acceptance that allows me to change it. Because once I accept it, I can actually take an action that's different than what I was doing before. I want to make sure that I clarify that just because I'm responsible for my weight and poor health doesn't mean that it was my fault that I was overweight, and it isn't yours either. The reality is, I was doing all the right things, right? I was following doctors, nutritionists, and health professionals' instructions. Heck, I've even told people to do what I was doing because I was eating healthy vegetables and fruit. I was eating whole grain. I was eating the highest quality foods that I could buy, packaged foods, because I was only ever buying the name brands, trying to make sure I maximize the quality of the ingredients. All of this not realizing that every one of those things that I just said was causing my weight to rise, causing my health to deteriorate, causing the pain and inflammation that I was living. I didn't know that. And I don't know how you could know that unless someone tells you, because every doctor, nutritionist, and health professional tells us to eat what I just said that I was eating, even though that's what's causing our health problems. It was only when I took responsibility for the pain that I was living and really dug in my heels and said, I'm going to find a solution to this, that I figured out that I was actually making a mistake with those other things. I couldn't have figured that out before that because I wasn't actually doing any research to try to understand why my weight and my health were in a bad place and were actively deteriorating. Doing that research gave me the answer. And if you want to check out what I learned, you can look at this video that I'm going to link right here. I'm going to suggest that you subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you know when rules 2 and 3 come out, because they're going to be separate videos, because this is a 3-part series that I'm making. And they're going to be linked in this playlist right here. So click on the link and I'll meet you over there.